The dog collar match. Starrcade, 1983. Here we go, fans. Retro review, a live to tape watch along here from Chaos Corner, Greensboro Coliseum, Starrcade 83. The dog collar matchup, the legendary one between Greg the Hammer Valentine and Rowdy Roddy Piper. You know the history. One fall to a finish. And you know the relevance of this as we do the live to tape retro review watch along here from Chaos Corner. CM Punk and MJF coming up for AEW will be in a dog collar matchup. So here is the history. Both Piper and Valentine have seconds in the ring. Bob Caudle, Gordon Soley are on the call here. Live to tape, as I said. This one started it all before WrestleMania. Follow me on all social media platforms so you can access this. We're coming up to 1,000 videos on the YouTube channel. Follow me on all social media platforms. You know what they are. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and here on the mothership on the YouTube channel. Live to tape watch along. Don't you dare miss it. Don't go anywhere. Starrcade 83. Don't you dare miss it. All right, fans, here we go. The dog collar matchup, the legendary one between Greg the Hammer Valentine, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Starrcade 83. For the U.S. title, I want you to listen to this. I hope you can hear it in the background. 15,000 or 18,000 capacity here on the Retro Review. Go back and check this out. I've been doing it in segments, anywhere from 10 to 20-minute segments, breaking down both men standing across the ring here, stretched out as the collar is around their neck. The dog collar is around their neck with the long chain in between. I want to say 12 feet. This is what you get here at Chaos Corner. No one else in the IWC does this. Live to tape watch-alongs, retro reviews. Wow. This is the matchup where there was irreparable damage done. If you know the history, if you've done your research, especially as I said in the opening, the relevance coming up between CM Punk and MJF and AEW coming up within a few weeks. They'll be in a dog collar match as the Hammer right now is swinging that chain back and forth, and he has finally, he did strike Piper on that. Both men have had it stretched out. It's got to be 12, 15 feet, depending. This was the larger ring back then. As they're both going like this, has he ever been tied up like this or chained up and been going through this? This has been my character in my life for years. We know the relevance. Now they've cut it together. Now they're in the middle of the ring and on the apron. It's been bloodied already because of what's going on in this show in Starrcade 83. They're slugging it out back and forth. The big NWA insignia. Wow. I'm glad you guys are here. This has been one hell of a... the name of Starrcade 83 was A Flair for the Gold. Two-time champion at the time, Ric Flair, going up against seven-time legendary icon, Harley Race. Piper now going to town. He's got educated fisticuffs, you know that, with his background. Hitting Valentine across the bridge of the nose with the chain. Pulling him back out into the center. Rights and lefts on Valentine. Valentine actually went back and took a bump instead of the traditional face first. Now between the cojones, whoop, whoop, and there's Piper is now taking over on the Hammer. And there it is. The face first bumped by the hammer. Thank God that I'm here in the recliner in the executive offices. Valentine bouncing back fast. They actually called Valentine back here in '83 as they introduced him as the bionic elbow. Now he's got the chain around. Pounding on Piper with the chain. Usually got him choking around. I'm giving you the visuals here at Chaos Corner. This is what we can do live to tape. What a match. Hooked by the dog collar. Both of them with the thick dog collar. Piper and Valentine. He's got it now around the eyes and ears of Piper. Valentine does as he's standing above him, putting the pressure, cranking down. Yeah, I know. I can afford to be a little descriptive here because I'm in my recliner. It's live to tape. No editing, unique, unscripted, one-man show. No one's downstairs in the bunker, and the studio's down there. Piper, take it over, as you can imagine, and as you'll see what Punk and MJF coming up in AEW and the relevance here 30-something years ago. Piper now has reversed it across the mouth, the ears, the eyes of Valentine, double wrapping it around. Both guys were never the same after this, and there was some, allegedly, some permanent damage by Piper's ear after this bout. This is great that on the channel you can go back and watch. Is that Apter, Bill Apter at ringside, or Napolitano? Well, who's there at ringside? The legend photographers. Let me let you hear some Mikado and Gordon Soley in the crowd. I think you could hear it on the volume. I don't want to blow everything out here in the home headquarters. There's 3 levels here in the HQ. We have the bunker where the podcast goes on. We got the big screen here and the 2 offices upstairs. Now, Valentine is the U.S. champion here for this dog collar match. Makes these more relevant. I'm glad that I have, as you can see, the old trademark here for Chaos. That is Bill Apter at ringside. What they've been doing here through the crowd, they just had a Dusty Rhodes on before this, because you know that whoever wins the Flair for the gold between Flair and Harley Race here in the main event is going to face 2-time champion at that time, Dusty Rhodes. So look back here in '83 and what they were in their career. What did Flair go on to be? A 17-time world champion. I don't know what the 2 companies combined, but here he's only a 2-time world champion. Harley Race is a 7-time world champion here, as Piper has busted open Valentine here with the dog collar match. Both men are outside of the ring here at the Greensboro Coliseum. The crowd is on their feet. The ref is certainly, this is to a finish, so there's really no rules here. Valentine is trying to yank Piper, yanking Valentine back up onto the ring apron. Both men are on the apron right now, and Piper is laying into a bloodied Valentine. Looks like Piper's going to be busted open now, too, as Valentine is coming back and taking over. Both men are on the apron right now. Excellent angle. Now, Valentine is hammering down with the chain on Piper. Again, 12, 15 feet has got to be the chain, I'm thinking. But now they've been outside of the ring here for a good 5 minutes. Now, Valentine has slammed Piper into the ring post. Outside, brawling around. No pads, all metal. Concrete floor, no pads out here. Piper into the chairs. Remember here in '83, we talk about hardcore before hardcore and what WWE did, and then ECW, and then what's going on in 2022. Here in '83, Butcher was against Cologne earlier in the show. They were both busted open. Scotty McGee and Johnny Weaver went up against Who'd they go up against earlier in the chart? It was Bugsy McGraw, or was it no, it was Kevin Sullivan and Maniac Mark Lewin with Gary Hart. Now Hart, Sullivan, and Lewin busted open McGee and Weaver. So look at the blood. 3 or 4 different bouts have been gory and bloody, and people have been busted open here in 1983 at Starrcade, which was the original. Again, I repeated it several times. I was 20 years old at the time in 83. Yeah, that gives away my age. I don't care. It's appropriate that we're covering the dog collar match. And again, the relevance of coming up soon here between AEW, between Punk and MJF. I hope you're staying here and watching these in different segments. That's why I don't make it into a full 1 hour or 2 hour or 3 hour live to tape watch along. Try to do it in segments, keep people's attention, go from match to match. It'll be labeled, uploaded. Don't care who's watching, who's not watching. But I do appreciate it. Again, we're going to change the angles and the different cameras. I know we were talking about it, but just a spur of the moment. Classic history, nostalgia. Nostalgia just ain't what it used to be. Piper and Valentine, NWA Starrcade 1983. Both men bloodied. Now Valentine looks like he's going for a reverse suplex here. He's got Piper in a front guillotine. Now they've both staggered back and are exchanging blows, forearm shivers. And this is where Valentine pounded on that ear with the chain and with the rights. Now Piper is busted open and bleeding from that left ear. Valentine is bleeding. This is a brutal matchup. They're back in the ring. And then there's Valentine with those classic elbow drops. Both men right now are bloodied, obviously. And then with the weapons, they've gone back and forth, inside and outside. Valentine has taken over now on the Rowdy one. 2 legends had a chance to, again, in 2019 at the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame and the Fan Fest, to meet and talk and pick the brain of Greg the Hammer Valentine. The Paradise Alley guys, very good friends with the Hammer, a legend in this business. Piper, self-explanatory. Here's Piper coming back, using it across the throat. Now he's doing the traditional pounding out on Valentine in the apron, kicking, stomping. Piper's reeling, realizes he's bleeding profusely. I'm not recognizing the referee on this one. Leave a comment if anyone could tell me who this is. Piper taking over now, whipping Valentine like a rented mule. I'm all done with my Red Bull. Valentine is out in the middle of the ring. Piper's wrapping it around his fist, coming down, dropping across the forehead of Valentine. You could hear the crowd. This was basically ahead of his time here in 1983. And remember, Greensboro was a hotbed, especially for the NWA. This is when the NWA, in my opinion, was ahead of the WWF. Piper with the lefts, the jabs, the rights. Don't you get that? Don't you love the live reactions? Because this is live. When I'm taping it, it's live. This has been a back and forth. I'm sure a lot of you fans have seen this. If you haven't, go back and watch it along with me. I started just basically from about the beginning. Valentine now taking back over on Piper. They have gone back and forth in the story here, getting the crowd up, the crowd down. It looks like Valentine's going to try to set in for the figure 4, or at least work on the hamstring of Piper. No, a big knee drop. It's a pleasure to watch this and do these retro reviews and then bring them to you guys. It really is. I got to be honest. I've been at it now for a good couple of hours that I've split up into segments. And I believe there's still 2 matches to go. I believe we still have the tag team match between Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood against Jack and Jerry Briscoe. And then, of course, Flair for the gold, which is Flair and Harley Race in the steel cage. So this has been something that I've put a lot of time and research and effort into it. I appreciate you doing it, and I appreciate you guys being here to watch this and consume this. And again, if you don't, it's still a lot of fun to go back history, especially in this day and age. Therapy for me, therapy for you. This is a brand, a lifestyle. Both trying to go for the reverse suplex, and Piper gets Valentine up and over, both in the dog collar with that chain. Now the crowd, from pillar to post, from the opening match with the Assassins all the way here now to the dog collar match, the crowd has been into it. 15 to 18,000 people in the Greensboro Coliseum. You get some of that today, nowadays, at the AEW live events. Once in a while at the WWE, we have WrestleMania coming up right around the corner. We know what the main events are going to be. It's going to be Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. What is it going to be? WrestleMania 36, I believe. Valentine right now has Piper in a sleeper, in the door, both in the dog collar still, with that chain. Retro review, live to tape watch along here at Chaos Corner. In the big chair. Bouncing back and forth, having a good time. I just even had a little snack in between matches. Had a nice boar's head and a little American cheese with a little dollop of some light mayo. A multi-grain deli flat. It was tremendous. Have not had any coffee yet. I had the Red Bull. I'm on a nice big mug of agua veish. There it is. Piper breaks out of the sleeper hold. Both men are bloody at this point. Valentine and Piper are both down now in the middle of the canvas. Blood all over the NWA insignia and the canvas. The crowd still going crazy. Piper bleeding from his ear. Valentine bloodied. We know that there's been a couple of bloody matches before this here in Starrcade 83. Valentine off the second rope with that elbow and the chain across Piper again. How they both have survived the elbow drops by Valentine, using it, and Piper with the fisticuffs. This has been unbelievable, inside and outside of the ring. Off the ropes now, Valentine. It's just been brutal. Be interested to see how Punk and MJF are going to stack up to what you look back on this. Now, Piper has taken over as they're both in the middle ring. Piper pounding down, going for a cover, and he's using, and there it is. Piper used the chain to pin around the thighs of Valentine, and he has pinned Valentine after pounding him to the ground. Both men bloodied. Now here comes a bunch of the other grapplers in to get Piper, raising him above his shoulders. Unbelievable. Starrcade 1983 in the dog collar match between Piper and Valentine. Valentine's up on his feet and now jumps Piper, celebrating Piper from behind. He did use the chain to pin him. Anything goes to a finish. Piper has officially won, but now Valentine has taken over and is going to town on that chain, and now is choking out Piper around his neck over the top rope and choking Piper with the chain. You remember this in 83. Choking him out. Hammers the referee. Both men bloodied. Piper has officially won. Here in the South Greensboro Coliseum in South Carolina, well, North Carolina. Greensboro. Did I say South Carolina? That was pretty good. You see what happens here? I still, 35 years, get crazy about this. Valentine is choking out Piper right now. Starrcade 83, live to tape, retro review, watch along with the GOC. It's pandemonium, chaos. Valentine has finally let go of Piper. Still now pounding away. Fans, don't go anywhere. We still have a couple of matches to go here on the Retro Review Watch Along. NWA, Piper and Valentine in a dog collar match. Piper has officially won, but now they are going to town here on each other, both bloodied and battered. Remember, MJF and Punk is coming up in AEW to have this. Let's see how it compares. Stay tuned. We're not done. Don't go anywhere. Back to Soli and Cottle backstage at Starrcade 83. I'm heading out. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back to review Flair for the Gold. Race and Flair. Don't you dare miss it.